It's a very good afternoon to you. My name is Alex Nyman, and I'm just having a few issues. I'm just getting some music sorted for you, and don't seem to be getting anything off my iPad at the moment. I'm just going to get back to you, and I'll just press some music while we're listening.
Hello, Alex. What's going on? You right? Oh, it's you.
There's nothing coming through there.
You got full volume on there, sir? Yeah. Well, isn't that strange? It's never been a problem before.
No, it's not playing at all.
Hello, listeners. Just Spare A.
Everything's on A.
Why don't you try auxiliary? Plug it into there.
Could do. Let's just turn that off.
Why don't you, but just before you do that, play that and make sure it comes out the speakers. No, it's that, isn't it? That's why.
It was up already. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
see what happens.
Let's stick it in there anyway.
Oh, you're going to do it on there, yeah? Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we're actually, you know,
yeah,
with the this one.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yep.
Something's happening. Is that going out?
Well, we got that one sorted out. Thank you, Michael. There's a bit of entertainment for people just coming in this afternoon.
Just so you can see that. Yeah.
And I'll be popping the music up. So Michael's just come in. He's had a lovely fish lunch. Sharing that with me as well. Absolutely wonderful. Anyway, welcome to Jazz Club. It's Wednesday, and we're going to be with you here for the next less than an hour and 50 minutes now, because I've been spending all that time sorting the iPad out. Okay, well, it is all sorted out now. And this is Chris Potter playing in the background. I'm really looking forward to bringing you the next couple of hours. I said my name is Alex Nyman. It's Jazz Club, and let's listen to Chris. And that was Scott Coley, their bass player, with featuring Chris Potter and Bill Stewart on the drums. Actually, no, Chris Potter wasn't featured on the drums. Chris Potter was featured on the tenor saxophone, and Bill Stewart was featured on the drums. If just in case you were thinking Chris Potter had suddenly moved on to being a drummer, which I'm sure he can play, but just not today on that particular track. So. Sorry about the beginning of the program there, and that's the wonders of live radio, I guess, and technology not quite working in the way that you would expect it to. It's done this thing for so long, and all of a sudden you plug it in, and it decides to do something completely different. So, I think I'll not have any volume for that at all now. And no, I know it says it looks like it's on full volume, but actually it's not at all. So we'll just plug it in somewhere else and then put it on, and whoops, it's back again. There you go. That's just the way it works. It's fantastic, isn't it? It's good. It's good job that we can, obviously Michael came in and helped me a great deal there, and I think without Michael I'd probably still be apologising for the fact that there's no music. As it is, I don't have to apologise anymore, so I'm going to stop apologising and I'm going to start playing you some music. So who have I got playing for you today? I have Seamus Blake and the San Francisco Jazz Collective, Sam Yarhill Trio, Matt Penman, New Zealand-born, New York-based bass player, Hayden Chisholm, sort of a cosmic traveller, if you will, on saxophone, fantastic player, playing with a couple of friends of old friends of mine there, and Tony Malaby, Rich Perry, Joshua Douglas. Look, heaps and heaps of fantastic stuff to play for you, and I hope you're really going to enjoy it with me. It's school holidays at the moment. If you weren't aware of that, it is. I'm aware of it because my daughter's in the other room, and she's on holiday. She's got her nose firmly stuck in her iPhone, and very difficult to prise her away from it. But mind you, I suppose if I'd been her age in this day and age, I'd probably have my nose stuck in my iPhone. What am I talking about? I normally have I've got my nose stuck in my phone anyway, and of course my other son's away. He's not with us today. He's down at the Pod in Greytown, which is a fantastic little school place for guys and girls who want to do something other than stick their noses in an iPhone. So if you do have those, get down to the Pod in Greytown. They're great. And anyway, let's move on with some more music. And this is a track from Jeff Tame Watts, Christian McBride, and a few other guys, and I'll tell you all about them after the track is finished. It's 10 minutes long, so have a cup of tea and a few biscuits and listen to this. That was the wonderful Dave Kikuski there on piano, and with Christy McBride and Jeff Tane Watts, and that was a track called Butane. Coming up pretty much now is a track from one of my favourite tenor players. I've got lots of them, as you probably know by now. Every week I say, and here's one of my tracks from another tenor player, saxophone player. Hey, that's just the way it is. I really love just listening to so many great saxophone players that are out there at the moment. We're very blessed to have them on the face of the earth, and I don't mind playing them for you, and I hope you enjoy them too. Seamus is one of the younger guns, been out there for a wee while now, but yeah, he's pretty much at the forefront of what's going on with the sort of tenor saxophone at this moment in time, even though there are many other guys out there doing sort of pretty worthwhile stuff as well. But Seamus certainly is sort of, I wouldn't say he's top of the pile, but he's part of that sort of top level of the pile, if you will, along with a few others. This is a track. I'm going to follow this up with another track from the San Francisco Jazz Collective. That's called Crescent. But the first one out is Seamus Blake, and this is called Way Out Wooly. That was the San Francisco Jazz Collective there with the John Coltrane number called Crescent. And unlike the original, there was all trumpet solo. And that's fantastic. I really enjoyed that track. Great trumpet solo. Didn't really state the trumpet player on there, and I'm really not that clued up to know who that actually is. I will find out at some stage, if not only for my own benefit. And what else got coming? Let's have a little look through the old playlist. I'm just thinking about what we should do next. I've got a few options, and I'll tell you what. Let's do a little bit of Kiwi-inspired music. Let's do Kiwi-inspired music, and this is featuring Hayden Chisholm. He's a wind instrumentalist of great repute. In fact, he was here recently in New Zealand, playing along with Norman Meehan and Paul Dine, on which one of these tracks at least features those guys, and the other one is featuring John Taylor and Matt Penman, who is a Kiwi-born bass player, now living in New York. And Hayden kind of sort of moves around the globe, not particularly based in any one real sort of place. He's kind of he spends a lot of time over in Europe, actually, over in Germany. Does a lot of bits and pieces over there. There's a couple of tracks. One's first called, rather wittily called, The Inebriate Waltz. So it might not be in 3/4. And the second track they're playing is called Nick Van Dyke. No, Nick Van Dyke actually not Dick Van Dyke. Nick Van Dyke happens to be an old buddy of mine. The track is actually obviously dedicated to him. He hasn't passed, fortunately, because he's a lovely chap, and he's a trombonist and also an educator and a keyboard player. And I think he's actually playing more keyboards now than he is trombone. Very, very interesting guy. Spent many, many happy hours chatting with Nick. Always something refreshing and interesting to talk about. And really lovely chap. And anyway, let's get on with these tracks. As I say, the first one is Inebriate Waltz. It's featuring John Taylor, the English-born piano player, Matt Penman. And then Nick Van Dyke featuring Hayden Chisholm, Norman Meehan, and Paul Dine. Some very beautiful alto sax playing there from Hayden Chisholm, and that was the Inebriate Waltz. So rather sneakily snuck in another track there in between those two Hayden Chisholm tracks from Matt Penman. And that was a New Age featuring Seamus Blake, oddly enough, on the soprano saxophone. Right, what have we got jazz-wise going on at the moment? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Well, actually, not that it will make much difference to you, because the opportunity to hear him has passed now. I think unless he's coming back into Wellington, I'll check that. But Dick Oates is over here on tour with the Charlie Parker and Strings arrangements that Bird once played many years ago, featuring a string quartet and a sort of a smaller wind section, and Dick's playing the alto sax part of Charlie Parker in his own inimitable way. Of course, Dick is an absolutely fantastic player, and really lovely guy, and an absolutely superlative player, really is, and just incredible, and well worth the opportunity to go and hear him play. If you're in and around New Zealand over the next few weeks, he is on tour, as I say, and if he does come back to Wellington, I will let you know. It might well be one of those tours where he ends up being back in Wellington for the last one. I know they were sold out in Bumston North last night, so do take the opportunity if you can hear him play. And of course, coming up at the end of August, you have the Jazz in Martinborough Festival, which is going to be fantastic. Lots of things going on there, and just before that will be the Wellington Jazz Festival. And once I have the programs for both of those events, I will start to inform you of who's on and who's not, and you can do that yourself, of course, but hey, why not let me help you, as it were. And you can also catch some of the music from those guys that are playing, because I'll be playing some of their music on here for you, so you know what to expect if you haven't heard them before. That's out of the way. Okay, let's move on now. This is a fabulous. This guy's a fabulous organ player, and his name is Sam Yahal, and this is called Truth and Beauty. Coley again there on bass, featuring Antonio Sanchez. That was from his album called From Within. Architect of the Silent Moment, and that particular track was called From Within. Now, if you don't remember, I just recently mentioned something about the Wellington Jazz Festival and when it's on and so on and so forth. Well, of course, it is actually well programmed up at the moment, and I was just having a little check online before the end of that track, and if you don't mind, I'm just slipping my glasses on so I can see what it is I'm looking at. There really are so many events happening. It would take me for the rest of the program just to sort of run through them all. Needless to say that Herbie Hancock is one of the main events. He's playing on Wednesday 5th June 8 p.m. He's going to be at the Michael Fowler Centre. Ambrose Akinmusire Quartet. Now, I actually have played some stuff from Ambrose, trumpet player, and there's Ghost Note Friday the 7th June, Code Quartet, Alicia Olajuja, Simon O'Neill and the Roger Fox Big Band, and probably about 50 other events that are going on during the period, which is going to be from the 5th to the 9th of June 2019. All going to be in Wellington, and lots and lots of stuff that's going to be free. Obviously, sort of just around in the streets, various sort of places that'll have jazz going on during the day and in the evenings. The Rogue and Vagabond's always a good place to go and catch some music there. And Meow, the Shikozaki, they often have little gigs going on there as well. You'd be hard-pressed not to hear some jazz at some point during that period if you are in Wellington. There's heaps and heaps of stuff going on. As I say, I won't run through it all. If you just go to wellingtonjazzfestival.nz, that'll and /events, that'll take you to everything that's going on there, and book ahead, because some of those events like Herbie Hancock will definitely be selling out well before he plays on that evening, and so it's definitely worth having a little look ahead. The tickets really are not that expensive. What is it? 79 to 129. That's at the Michael Fowler Centre. That's a pretty good price, I think. $79 to listen to Herbie Hancock playing with. I'm not too sure what he's bringing with him. He'd probably have like probably a full band. I hope sort of quintet at least, something like that maybe. So we'll find out nearer the time what's going on there, and before then I'll be playing some stuff, some of the very recent stuff from Herbie Hancock. And give you an idea of what to expect if and when you can get along to that particular gig. What are we doing now? Let's have a bit of a standard sort of a jazz thing going on. This is Tony Malaby, and what is this thing called? Love. Rich Perry there, recorded live at the Gitano from the album called recorded at the Gitano album #1. I assumed that there must be an album #2 on the books, or maybe it's already out there. I'm not too sure. Love Rich Perry, such an understated player, such a humble guy, and not enough people know about him. He's a wonderful, wonderful player, and one of my former students was having lessons with him in New York up until about a year or two ago, and Richard Ty happens to be his name, and he was a wonderful student, and he's a fantastic player as well. And he's over in New York right now doing his thing, as they say. Let's finish the program off now. I've got track called Tenor Madness, old Sonny Rollins tune. It's a blues. It's featuring Joshua Douglas, Rich Berry, and Rick Margetza. All fantastic players, and it's been a bit of once more, it's been a bit of a saxophone feast. Sorry about that, and I hope you enjoyed listening to all these guys play, because they're all wonderful, wonderful players, and they'll play so differently as well. It's a wonderful thing about jazz. It brings out the individuality in, hopefully, everybody. I'm going to say goodbye to you now and just play you out with the tracks, so I won't be coming back again during it, and I hope you've enjoyed the show this week. It's been a great pleasure to bring this beautiful music to you, and I do hope you'll be able to join me again next Wednesday at 12:30. Remember, this show goes out again tomorrow night. It's at 7 o'clock. It's recorded. It's a replay. And it's also on Free to View Channel 41, I think 12, 5 and 11 p.m. on Thursdays as well. So do check it out if you've got time. And between now and next week, have a very safe and enjoyable week. And I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Take care until then. Bye-bye.
Thank